Black people. We are here to make ourselves better as Black people. We want to build our community. We want to solve our own problems. And we also want to come together. That's what the B1 philosophy is all about. And so put a B1 in the chat as you come in the building. B1 means that we understand that we need to solve our own problems. We need to make ourselves a top priority. And also our community can be number one if we put our minds to it. So welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So today I get a chance to talk to a real cool brother by the name of Toure. I don't know if you guys know Maj. I assume you do, but if you don't know, now you know. Toure is the founder of Black Guns Matter. Black Guns Matter, and this brother is here to drop some knowledge on the people and to share his perspective, which is always interesting to hear. So without further ado, I'd like to ask my brother, how you doing today, man?
I'm good, Doc. Good to be back on here with you.
Yeah, man. I'm glad you're here. And everybody type MAJ Maj. Type this brother's name in the chat. Let's say his name. To give him power, because I know the people in here are happy to see you, because I know you're a free Black man, and we like freedom around here. So so let's get started here. Hit the thumbs up button. Everybody hit the thumbs up button. John and Jessica and Tanika and I see Akila and Lester, etc. We're getting ready for the Knowledge Fest this weekend in Louisville, Kentucky, and the Solutionary Summit, which Maj is going to be hosting in the fall. And I'll tell you guys about that more a little bit later. So first and foremost, man, okay, so you are the founder of Black Guns Matter.
Yeah.
Tell us about Black Guns Matter and what that is and where that comes from.
Well, we, in essence, we created this organization in 2015 going into 2016. So I say closer to 2016. Around the, building up for the presidential elections. At that time, we kept hearing everybody saying we need a voters registration drive. And, even like the Asian community, which historically has the lowest voter turnout in America, they own a lot of their own stuff. And they don't really deal with some of the same issues that we have in the Black community with, chasing politicians or whatever. So we, jokingly said, man, we don't need no voters registration drive. We need a license to carry drive. And so we did an event. And in doing so, it was intentionally or intended to be one event. And way too many people showed up. People came from, it was in Philly. And people came from Jersey. People came from Brooklyn. People came from all of these places. And in doing so, we recognized that there was a lot of people that needed the information in regards to how to safely own and secure firearms, as well as the process on how to lawfully obtain them. Now, when I say lawfully obtain, that's somewhat of a contradiction, because based on the framework of this place, the Second Amendment in the Bill of Rights in the Constitution, to the Constitution, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Asking for a license is an infringement. A license is something that the government sells you, that it allows you to do now because you paid them. That's what licensing is. So I have to say that a lot, because our job was to inform people about the political process, the contradictions, how to do it, and how to do it while not, going to jail potentially. But at the same time, we have to expose that contradiction, that it's the process in and of itself is a sham based on the framework, the framing documents to this nation. So we did that. And we initially, so many people being from different places, we were like, yo, we can't even really help you in your state. We live in Philly. You're from Jersey. You're from Brooklyn. You're from this part. You're from that part, Delaware. So we put together a GoFundMe at that time years ago, where we wanted to allow people to come to these classes to learn about these things for free. But as we know, nothing is free. So we wanted to show an experiment in collective economics, voluntarism. Myself, I'm a libertarian. So I believe that the people can solve problems a lot better, but working together than the government can. So we put together a GoFundMe. We initially had said, we're going to do 13 cities. And in metaphysics, the number 13 represents the transformation from the physical to the spiritual. So there's a numerology energy to it. And it was like, okay, the first 13 colonies in America, playing on all of that. So we did this thing. We raised $25,000 to do these classes for free. And then every time we would hit a goal, people would email and say, man, you got to come to our town. You should do more cities. And now fast forward a bit. We are at $417,000 raised and given away to inform people over the last 4 or 5 years and doing these classes for free. We had a stated goal of making Black people the largest gun buying demographic in America. As of March 2019, we accomplished that goal. Black people in America are the newest and largest gun buying group of people in America.
Wow.
And that was just the first phase in regards to getting people the means and changing that mindset. Guns are not just for the cops or for the bad guys. Just giving people an understanding from our demographic that you can have a firearm and be safe and responsible with it. You can have firearms to protect yourself from, all enemies, foreign and domestic. You can use firearms to protect yourself from violence from corrupt portions of law enforcement, and just telling people that overall message. So we've done that now, and we have a stated goal now of $1 million. That remaining $580 some odd thousand will be going towards buying this building outright. I don't think that I'm not a gun dude. I'm a freedom dude. So I don't think that those things are separate. Having a firearm, but you're operating in a business or a location that is the building itself is owned by somebody else. You really kind of like it ain't your building. You know what I'm saying? So we want to make sure we're doing that, as well as handling the rest of the year's classes and things of that nature. So saying all of that to say that's how we started. That's how we got to where we are now. And it's been like an amazing ride in regards to how many people we've met, how many lives we've changed, the hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions of people impacted by the work, all by the people working together and donating what they can. Nobody was taxed for it. Nobody, we didn't take no PPP loans. It was just, what I'm saying? None of the squads going to jail for that corruption. You know what I'm saying? So it's been a great ride, and I wouldn't change a thing.
Wow. Everybody, as you come in, hit the thumbs up button, share, subscribe button. We're talking to Maj Toure. Maj Toure is the founder of Black Guns Matter. You should definitely look him up. And we're talking about a lot of things. One of the things I want to ask about actually right now, man, is, I'd like to ask about some of the reactions, right? Because you don't operate in that straightforward Democrat or Republican space. People can see I don't either. Right. And that can be liberating, but also challenging, right? Yeah. Because some people won't support you because they say, "Oh, he's a Republican." Or if you're not a Democrat, you're a Trump supporter, right? Right. And then on the right, there are issues there as well. So how do you navigate that, man? What's that? How does that feel? Because you're doing something that is very Black, that a lot of Black people are just not used to. Most Black people, give me a yes or no in the chat, everybody. If you could talk about this as well. It seemed to me that there's so many messages that Black people get from the beginning that guns are bad, that we could be in the gun control, like get rid of guns crowd. Like we're gonna turn our guns in, right? They're gonna give us free groceries or a couple blunts to turn our guns in, and you're going in the opposite direction. How is that in terms of navigating that space when it almost seems like nobody's, I would say nobody, but a lot of people won't understand enough to be able to get behind what you're doing?
The irony is it's the opposite for me. The vast majority of people, even if they do, how like people, when they say white people, they like whisper, like, I don't know why they do that, but they do like this thing. Or like old heads will be like, it's not many of us in here. And they'll like point to their skin, right? There's a few people that's like that. Even in hushed tones, they'll still say, I own a gun, but I'm not really out there with it. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like they've been conditioned, like you said, they've been conditioned to believe that this is a bad thing. But the vast majority of the people, and it may be because of how I approach it, we explain to people like, yo, the state is not your friend. Like the government is not your friend at all. And so even in by saying, asking people, we like, yo, do you, when people present themselves and say, they don't really bang with guns like that, they anti-gun. Usually my response is like, oh man, I wish I could believe, you have a lot of trust in the government. And they usually kind of go like, well, no. What does one have to do with the other? And I'm like, yeah, man, in my experience, waiting on the police to show up in a scenario, might not be the most time effective thing. You know, it might be not the most productive thing. Police officers are however long away when, you know, seconds count. So giving people that perspective from that angle, as well as just like the hood, there's all the guns is in the hood. Like, we know this. We just don't talk about it. And so talking to people from a safe and responsible way, and then showing them there has been a concentrated effort. That is what the entire gun control movement is about. A concentrated effort to disarm or unarm Black people, and then somehow make them go to jail if they want to have the means, the most effective means to defend themselves, which is a firearm. When you explain that to our demographic, meaning Black folks, urban America for the most part, they get with it. And I don't judge. I'm just very like, yo, bro, if you don't want a gun, that's cool, but can we at least meet in the middle where I won't infringe on your right to not have one if you don't want one, if you don't infringe on my right to have some if I want some. And so the explanation and where we do the classes, I mean, we've been everywhere every year. When we first hit our first 4 cities, we go to the 4 cities that had the most homicides the year prior. So if we go to those places, the people that are there, they like, yo, it's a little bit rough out here. I might need something more. I already have something. I want to know how I can go about this or secure this lawfully. We just are very we like, you know, the example that I give, we follow the Planet Fitness business model. Yo, if you fat and you want to come work out, cool. We're not going to judge you. Come in. This is what this place is for. I would rather alienate a so-called pro-gun person that has a mightier than thou attitude, or, you know, like a gun snob. I would much rather alienate that person by ignoring them and catering to an absolute beginner, you know, just like Planet Fitness. I don't have to worry about catering to a guy that's in the gym every day. He gets it. He's on board. Our classes don't make people feel like, oh, this is only for super operators. You got to know everything about guns, and I'm going to feel embarrassed because I don't know anything about guns. That's not what our classes are. And then when you factor that with conflict resolution, political education, the classes start to feel more like social gatherings, or, you know, people like going to church and shit. So it's kind of like, you know, what do they call it? Like they're convening, you know, and we obviously get the firearms portion in, but just we have such a non-judgmental way of making people feel warm and not judged because they even go in this direction, or not being judged because of the fact that they may own firearms. Or you have a gun that you just sat in the safe or sat somewhere that you don't know nothing about. We don't judge people for that. Nothing in our classes, even in our, you know, online, our visual does not look like, you know, you got to be special ops to come here. Like, I have a bunch of plate carriers and bulletproof vests and all different types of things. Sharing that with the general public that's a beginner, in my opinion, in the beginning, they're going to gravitate or matriculate towards that anyway. Making visually, you can scare someone away because they don't think that they know enough or look the part. So for us, it's not even, it hasn't been that. The only thing that we usually get is, you know, the conversation in regards to, like, when it comes to the politic. Oh, well, how you going to be around all of them NRA people, or how you going to be around them? I'm like, bro, you around them all the time at your job that you work at. So like that misinformation in regards to, oh, you must be around the Republicans. First of all, I'm a libertarian. That's number one. So I don't fit. So that's one. And so it creates the opportunity for even that conversation about what a libertarian is, about what ANCAT or anarchists are, in the actual definition of these words. It even creates a conversation about, well, you know, Frederick Douglass was a Republican, or he had more conservative values. You know, the origin of the Republican Party. I'm not telling anybody to join anything. My understanding is we can just get people when they present the opposition. These are teachable moments. So whether it's I got to talk to you about politics, or we discuss conflict resolution, or we talk about gun safety, all of these things are interconnected. So we don't really get that pushback in that regard, especially once I clarify, you know, the actual real deal of what these political parties are about in regards to that person having the right to defend their life.
Mm. Well, it's funny. And by the way, everybody, I'm talking to Maj Toure, CEO and founder of Black Guns Matter. Hit the thumbs up button on your way in. Please hit the thumbs up button. And in a minute, we're going to talk about his Solutionary Summit that he has coming up, which I think is a great idea. And I think everybody needs to know about it. But what's funny to me, man, is I'm like you. I voted Libertarian because I'm not gonna fucking be a Democrat or Republican. I'm just not. It's and I'm just black, like it's on my shirt. And it's kind of interesting, man, when somebody, when you go on, like, because I've seen you on shows. You've been on shows that maybe are hosted by a conservative, or maybe I think it maybe still was a CPAC. I think you did something, right? And it's kind of like, you get these black people that are like, well, what you doing over there, CPAC? You ain't supposed to be over there, boy. What you doing? And I'm like, you just like, motherfucker, this ain't 1682. What the fuck is wrong with? Why are you telling me, like, which master boss are you bowing to that's going, buck breaking whip me in the back, because I went somewhere I wasn't supposed to go. I don't have any problem with somebody being a Republican or Democrat. You and I both have friends on both sides of the aisle. Angela Stanton, shout out to her. She takes on all the battles, right? No fear. And it's kind of like why in the world do you think you have the right to tell somebody what they're allowed to be politically and who they're allowed to roll with? Because they're not honoring the white person that you're honoring. And and I'm not even making fun of people that voted for Biden. I mean, but you sitting up here tucked up under his testicles, waiting for this man to save you, like, and literally out here trying to whip other black people that deviate from whatever they told us to do. That when I see stuff like that, that just reminds me how far we have to go in terms of even understanding what freedom means. I don't know. What do you think about that?
It's the same as the reason why people are initially nervous. Most people psychologically with guns, right? They don't see themselves as the person with the firearm. Psychologically, they see themselves as the person with the gun pointed at them. Same thing with politics. They don't see themselves as the person empowering themselves, their family, or their community. They see themselves as the potential victim, without sounding like, cliche talking point, but a victim mentality is the thought process. So because of that, their conditioning has told them that this particular side is their side. And if you go over there, it's like you somehow going to be in the movie Get Out, and they're going to like stir the tea up, and then you're going to be zombified, and you ain't going to have a choice with your life. First of all, I got a gun everywhere I go. I wish a motherfucker would. That's number one. Number two, actually, that's number two. Number one is I know how to get away and ease from conflict. I walk away from so many things in certain spaces because I know what I'm potentially going to do to you. I know what my mindset is. If you make the space between it being you or me, it ain't going to be me. I'm going home. And so I walk away. So I understand how to maneuver in situations that are real life scenarios, make everything else look like cake. So me going into CPAC, I'll be there July. They doing CPAC part 2 for like the middle of the year. That's in Dallas on July the 9th through the 11th. I'm going to be down there again. Do I know Donald Trump Jr.? Yeah, he's a hunter. He's a shooter. Do I know KD, Kevin Dixie? Yes. Do I know, dudes in Philly that can't really know me right now because of what they do in the street? And that's them saying, Maj, you can't know me right now because if I'm associated with that person at that time, if they get caught doing what they're doing, one of my, buddies, and social media interactions, have relations with AR Ad, who just got sentenced to 45 years in prison for cocaine. So I'm walking different rooms. So I like going into a room with people that are so-called Democrat or so-called Republican. I understand that the general public does not see themselves as the lion that will rip somebody's face off if need be. So all of their reactions come from that standpoint. So they go, their projection of rudeness via social media speaks to me of their insecurity about their ability to go walk in any room and be who they are in any room. I go to CPAC. First of all, when I go to CPAC, generally, last year was year was in Miami, the first one, the main one. I go down there, in Orlando. I go down there, fly. I go down there to solve a mission. I went down there this time to put Angela Stanton King, Shamika Michelle, Adrian Norman, Rich Valdez, black and brown folks from a conservative lean that weren't tap dancing like Brandon Tatum. We don't do that. And so that was my agenda. I've been very open about this goal. So when I go to libertarian rooms, I show them how, there's a lot of overlap between what libertarians are and what conservative values are. What we're being shown generally isn't matching what that definition is. When I go into Democrat rooms, I'm like, yeah, so what? And then I can explain to them like, bro, you don't even know about Frederick Douglass, bro. He was a champion of black people's rights. And then I go, he married a black woman and he married a white woman. So these things are nuanced in detail and all of this other stuff. The fortunate part for me is I actually read. So it doesn't matter what room you drop me off in. I'm at least nominally versed in the conversation in the room. And I'm still going to lean it back to, hey, the state is the problem. All of this bias and bigotry is only impacting black people negatively because the state justifies it via legislation. If there was no legislation that created racism, or that sanctioned racism, and regardless of whatever political party you're in, racism wouldn't even really be a thing. It would just be like voluntary association. You would rock with who you rock with. But the state legitimizes that. And I don't care what political background that you're in, you know that. And because I go into these spaces and I hear these people, I know they just afraid. I'm a very empathetic person. I have to be. I walk around with the power of death on me everywhere I go. So I have to be very, very empathetic. I'm empathetic for people that feel like, I'm not supposed to say free Kyle Rittenhouse and free Mumia Abu-Jamal. They don't even, their limitation and mindset makes them think that I'm not supposed to be able to evaluate those two things. Or they say, well, putting those two things together means they're exactly the same. No, they're not. That's like saying putting two liquids next to each other. I got a gallon of water right here and I'm sipping coffee. They're both liquid, but they're different types of drinks, nuance, context. I can explain it from a space, from a loving space, especially with our people, because I know the programming that's been done. Black people have been in the center of the scope of the longest social experiment in world history. So with me knowing that, it's like, oh man, it's like a child. Like you dumb, bro. You just don't know this. Not you're ignorant. I'll say it that way, meaning you're unaware. So when I see that, I take it with a grain of salt. But these are all, as religious as we say, people we are. We got to start embracing everything from an empathetic and spiritual space. To me, if this thing is spiritual, if it is, I don't know. I never died and came back. I don't got the footage to show nobody, right? You know what I'm saying? So if this thing is spiritual, and if I understand that other people that don't have the same vision that I have or the level of context, when they respond so-called aggressively, just words that you ain't gonna do shit to me, I understand that that's an opportunity for a teachable moment. Somebody just said, I love Angela Stanton King. She is on the front lines for fighting to protect our children from this transhuman, transgender agenda. It's an agenda, straight like that. And so I understand she from the street. She is Atlanta to the core. So her being able to go in these particular rooms and navigate and still be who she is, she still got a presidential pardon from Donald Trump when he was president. So there's a way when you are truly walking in your own light and your own path where you can be exactly who you is, and it don't matter what room you walk into. I've made a decision to fight for our people. I made that decision a while ago. If I retire at the end of this year, then I'm gonna go get more rich, not giving money away, but utilizing the resources to expand and build an empire. But I made that decision on what my truth is. Once I did that, I don't give a fuck how you view it. You're welcome to view it any particular way. But knowing that also shows you that most people don't know that. They don't know that about themselves. And we all here trying to figure it out to a certain extent. You know, when most of these people are young, and you know how they say, youth is wasted on the young. Bro, you 25. I know you thought you had your life all sewed up. I get it. You know what I'm saying? So in that sense, I genuinely, like you do, I'm not approaching the situation deliberately trying to every opportunity to attack Black people, even in somehow verbally attack. I don't have to respond to every one of them arguments from Black people. That same Black person is in a certain scenario is going to reach out to me because they got beat up by the police. They're going to. So that so-called beef that somebody probably put a battery in their back, or they doing what they think is best for their brand or they whatever, those people are going to respond that way. We ain't got to go. None of this is all of this internet saying stuff. That's not real to me. People have tried to murder me. Like this is like easy. So I'm not going to allow the opposition spiritually, politically, socially. I'm not going to allow that to maneuver me into space where I violate my own non-aggression principle. You know what I mean? And so because of that, and it's knowing that, and it's a teachable moment, I can explain that to people in easy ways. And I'm still going to do what the fuck I want to do regardless. Nobody's going to check me. So it's a win-win.
Everybody who just came in, I'm talking to Maj Toure. Maj is the founder of Black Guns Matter. Make sure that you follow, check out the hashtag and look up Black Guns Matter online. He's got a lot of stuff. He's got an apparel line. He's got a lot of really good stuff going on. And I want to remind everybody that this weekend there's the Knowledge Fest in Louisville, Kentucky. I'm going to be there. Red Pill, Blue Pill, who you just saw on here earlier, is going to be there. Brother Ben X is in the Black World Order are going to be there. Sabir Bey will be there. Also, Styles P, the rapper. So if you want to check it out, Kari Muhammad put together something great. It's going to be at the Muhammad Ali Center. It starts this weekend. So look it up. Go to meetinc.org. The URL's on the screen if you want to go check it out. All right, hit that thumbs up button. Everybody hit the thumbs up button. So I want to ask you about this, man. You called me about something that I really liked your idea. It was something that you wanted to do or that you're going to do called the Solutionary Summit. Yeah. And I love that term solutionary. I think I like the idea of being radical about solving problems, right? You got to solve the damn problem. You can't just talk about it. You can't just say hands up, don't shoot. You know? Yeah. I'm not doing that. I'm not putting my hands up. I'm not getting on my knees. I'm not doing none of that shit.
Right?
Right, exactly. So how about stand up and shoot back? How about that? That might be a little better. So you are you're doing the Solutionary Summit. And I was real excited when you described it to me, man. Can you tell us about the Solutionary Summit and the goals of the summit and why people should look into it and want to attend?
The main reason is it's a meeting of different types of minds. There will be Democrats, Republicans, conservatives, independents, libertarians from the political spectrum. In a space where in real life people can challenge each other's ideas on stage. People can agree or disagree and then go get a drink. Like, you know what I'm saying? Then go have, go work out in the gym, whatever. We did it last year, September the 12th in Atlanta. Again, we had Angela Stanton King, Jay Morrison, Larry Sharp, Judge Joe Brown, Van Lathan from TMZ couldn't make it, but he sent the video in. Lieutenant Colonel Alan West. Just a bunch of people that don't fit what they say you guys aren't supposed to talk. And it's just about presenting solutions. This year we got a hip hop panel. We got hip hop and politics. We got the financial panel. We have health and wellness. Business and tax. Royce the 5'9" is pulling up. Tone Trump is pulling up. I got Green Beret snipers, literally Green Berets that were snipers and did tours. My brother Akil from Tailored Defense Training Group teaching basic survival and firearms information with Ed Calderon on a yacht down in Miami. We got the panel for those 2 days. And it's just, in essence, an opportunity for people to actually engage with the so-called other. The groups of people that are strong, that have an independent mindset, that may be in different political spheres or different economic spheres, but have some sort of solution to present to the people and for everyone to come learn from. That thought process of you ain't black, if you know, to quote Biden, if you're trying to figure out who you're trying to vote for between me and Trump, you ain't black. You don't get to tell black people what they are. We created everything. So we could be whatever we choose to be. Right now, fortunately, we choosing to be productive and solution-based. And being in that space with people from so many different diverse political and just backgrounds, engaging with people and not being afraid. A lot of times, some people are canceled from these things because they're afraid to actually engage the people that they talk shit about online. You're afraid to, and I don't mean in the sense of like being attacked. I mean in the sense of let your ideas, present them, stand on them, articulate them, and defend them. I could do it. If someone says, oh, women shouldn't have guns, I can thoroughly explain why women should have guns. How I can give you the data of how many self-defensive gun usages there are every year, and compared to the so-called gun deaths, which 60% of those are suicides. So I can stand on what I'm saying. And a lot of the people sometimes that can't do that. But there's a large segment of the community that's tired of extremes, extreme right, extreme left. Black people generally, when presented the information, are more balanced. We say all of this like I'm a Democrat, but you follow conservative principles. When your grandmama or your dad said, close my door, you letting the heat out. We are being fiscally conservative about that gas bill. You know what I'm saying? And so getting people to recognize that, yo, all of these groups of people have more in common and are actually trying to go the same space. By me being a point guard, I know how to dish the rock to people. And I'm like Switzerland. Everybody's like, well, we like Maj generally. And because of that, I'm able to leverage my relationships to bring people together for the people. We got, and whether that's generationally, basically all I did was look at the Willie Lynch theory and just do the opposite. So when when it's young against the old, I'm going to put on the hip hop panel, we got a young, we got Tone Trump from Philly, West Philadelphia Muslim brother. You know what I'm saying? Young dude. And we also got Professor Griff on the same panel. We can't create the spaces where generationally there's a separation. When it's old, young, fat, slim, dark skin, light skin, all of that, political, Democrat, Republican, all of these people are going to have representation. And because it's Switzerland, Maj is the place that Maj has relationships with all of these people. And because I move in such principle, everybody knows that Maj ain't going to try to gotcha aha moment between two people. It's a place where people can come and learn from all of these great minds that are, respective powerhouses in their field. And I think seeing that from a primarily Black perspective, it's an amazing thing. So that's what the Solutionary Summit is going to be. It's September the 3rd through the 5th in Miami. And the rest of the world is usually getting chilly around September for the most part, especially if you live in the Northeast. Come down to Miami, man. Miami's a beautiful city. Shouts to that governor down there, DeSantis, who saw through a lot of the COVID foolishness and is like, yo, Florida's open, bro. You know what I'm saying? Miami's a beautiful, beautiful place. And I just want everybody to come learn, man. We put a lot of energy into this one. And thank you, Doc, for coming. For those of y'all that don't know, Doc will be there. I'm not just putting him on the spot. He actually already like.
Yeah. I love it, man. I love it because it reminds me of what you say on your, like your shirt. I saw somebody say, how do I get that shirt? Because I love the way I guess one thing we have in common, we have no problem telling you what we think, on the t-shirt. And before we go, I definitely want to put up the URLs for where people can buy your merch and everything. But that shirt, saying in the war on black masculinity or in the war on masculinity, period. I like that. And if anybody wants to know why I respect Maj, it's because you are a man and you are masculine in the sense that, the internet is full of bitches. The internet's full of people that if you disagree with them, it can't be, I don't like your ideas, but here are my ideas. Let my ideas go against your ideas, or let's debate it out, right? It'll get personal. It'll be like, well, you just a punk anyway. You a fraud. You a piece of crap. And you know what I'm talking about. I'm not gonna say no names because I don't want to make it like that. But it's like, it's like okay, wait. So you disagree with me, but yet you're doing a whole video about my wife. Like what the fuck does my wife have to do with this? And at that point, it's like, and y'all know, people watching know who I'm talking about. And anybody that says something crazy, I mean, say one thing. Just say one thing so I can block you, because I need you to check yourselves out, because this is not. I'm not begging people to come to this channel, but it was one of those things where it's like I'm talking to somebody yesterday, and they're talking about a particular person that for whatever reason decided that they just want to be real personal about me. Like forget the debating. Don't want to talk. Don't want to debate. Don't want to meet in person. Yeah. But I'm gonna get on the internet and I'm gonna just make shit up and call you a piece of shit and all this other stuff. And I'm like, what is going on? Like, that is not the way men handle things where I come from. As men, your goal should be to like, okay, let's sit down and talk this out. I feel a little disrespected. You feel disrespected. Let's become friends. When you get to where it's like real weird and personal and crazy, that's very Willie Lynchish. It's very feminine to me. It's like, wait, you can say a lot of things, but you could say it to your choir, but you can't say it right to the person's face. Yeah, that's a problem. And then you start talking about his wife, and I had to tell people. I had to tell the guy. I said, you know what? Things are forgiven and forgotten. I can let things go. I don't give a shit. I don't give a fuck what you think about me. I love myself. But if you think that I can now step up and forget the fact that you did a whole video to 100,000 people saying things about my wife that are not true. Now you kind of cross the line. That's a bridge that's burnt that I don't think could ever be rebuilt. And the whole community loses, because at that point, those two men can't come together and do much of anything anymore. Right. It's like, because every time I'm be like, because now you done made it more complicated. So I think that in general, and I don't want to dig too far into that. And you can address it, we can move on. But I really want everybody to know that one thing I like about you is that even though you're very assertive about things, you're fearless about your ideas, you're very clear on who you are. You also have an ability and understanding of strategy and conflict resolution that I think everyone should consider. And remember, when you're talking about, possessing weapons and all this other stuff, you got to have that conflict resolution ability amongst black men, or people are going to keep fucking getting killed. Right. We got just the other day, man, right there in Philly, DJ Stanton. Shout out to DJ Stanton. Yeah. Just today, my friend in Philly said that they are cremating this young brother who was shot by a young black man, because he was jealous. The dude just got jealous, decided to run up in the store, shot him in broad daylight, shot a 53-year-old woman in the chest, and over nothing. These people had no idea this guy was coming. So it's like, when you talk about this, man, you talk about carrying the power of death in your pocket every day, and the importance of conflict resolution and the empathy. I've even heard people say that, well, empathy is a feminine concept. No, it's not. Any fucking human being with some goddamn sense should take the time to be empathetic and understand what you are doing, right? Yeah. So please, I'm gonna be quiet, man. As you can tell, I'm very passionate about this, but I want everybody to know this is why this brother is here today, and this is why I respect him. So please, go ahead.
The saying too much shit will get your fucking face blown off in real life. And as someone that has been to jail fighting charges and fortunately beat them, jail is not the spot. First of all, they're going to give you a ransom if you get the ransom, because that's what bail is, ransom. If you don't have the money because you was making dumb financial decisions, you're going to sit there because you don't got the ransom to pay to get your physical body out. Then you got to fight a case. I do not want to go to jail for murdering somebody for something that could be avoided, because I'm not going to let you murder me. I don't care. There's too many people that are depending on my brain. There's too many people that are dependent on my brain. And with that being the case, my legacy will not be somebody else tricked me out of my spot. You know, there's a video floating around the internet of Meek Mill saying when he recognized that people will destroy themselves so you won't succeed. That's legit. Like if I shoot you, I'm brainless. But if you shoot me, you famous. That thought process exists. So I want to avoid that at all costs. So if somebody says something of that nature, I have to get away from you. I'd start using movie references in my head to attempt to figure out why it's very important for me to get away from that scenario. I use movies all of the time. Fallen with Denzel Washington. Oh, that's Azazel. There's a negative energy in you. Let me crack open the sage and get that energy up away from me, bro. Let me because when it's go time, the light is lit. The green light is lit. The rounds don't go back in the barrel. And that has to be a justified shoot. If I pull my firearm in self-defense, there has to be an imminent threat, meaning a definite right now threat to my life or life in general. Not because I was jealous of you, or if I can't I can't feed that energy, that envy, that hate to give you more of a reason to attempt to put my life in imminent danger and then trick me into shooting you. Because if you put my life in imminent danger, I'm absolutely going to light your life up. That's going to happen. And I don't want to do it. And then what's the outcome of that? The outcome of that is I got a bunch of lawyers that'll take a case for me like for free. It helps set a precedent for them. I won't even have to pay for it. Your family's going to be very, very sad. And they're going to have to put together the GoFundMe or the fish fry to pay for your funeral. And I don't know if you have children. I don't know if you have this. I don't know. I don't want that. What I want for myself, I want for my brother. So when those scenarios of conflict resolution, even this internet, this back and forth arguing, bro, I don't have time for it. I'm so quick to say, my bad, even when it ain't my bad. I'm so quick to go, damn, I solved that. I was able to sit down with the brother. We was able to chop it up. And we was able to move forward. And now our army's a little bit stronger. You know, I'm strong enough to say, damn, am I hating a little bit in your own mind? Damn, am I hating a little bit? Because that Azazel energy could kick up in anybody. No one's immune from it. My grandmother used to say, respect the devil. That energy is ancient. You think you smart, but the devil is ancient. So for a second go, oh shit, the devil. If whatever you believe in, the shaitan, Satan, whatever, pick whichever one of them cartoon characters fit for your life. Oh, in that moment, am I letting that lower vibration get me for that second? Damn, I was on that. Let me self-correct. Because I want to nip that in the bud before it gets to the point of no return. As a gun owner, that is your responsibility. That is your responsibility. I don't want to hear nothing. It's like when I hear people saying, oh, they child got to their firearm. That negligence falls on you. It's no accident. It's negligent. There's no accident with a firearm. It doesn't do anything. It's an inanimate object. If you are not being responsible with you, where you put in your body while you got a gun on you, where you're putting your body to get away and not have to use your firearm, all of that falls on you. We have a problem with accountability in humanity. And with that being the case, nah, bro, I'm not going there. I remember this one interview that Jay-Z did about, after Big's death. And he said that in the interview, he said early on in their career, before they really, really was popping, but they had an album out or whatever, him and Big and Tata, which is Jay's right-hand man, was going somewhere to a club. And Big said, they pulled up and it was a line and it was, it was a rough club. And Big said, nah, man, I'm out. I ain't going in there. And they, Jay said, all right, man, cool. And then him and Tata kind of was like, do you believe this guy? The nerve. Ain't nobody gonna stop us from going in there. And in hindsight, Jay said Big was way more advanced than us because we were trying to prove how tough we are. Ain't nobody gonna stop me from going somewhere. His whole thought was, I'm not even attracting that energy.
Mm.
I'm not placing my body in that space. I'm not going to jail, bro. If I go to jail, that shit is going to be for so much impactful. Maj ended the Federal Reserve Bank. Maj stopped the state. It's going to be so big that it's like, no, they're going to throw me a parade. But going to jail because I was irresponsible with my highest property, which is my body. I was irresponsible with where I put my body. That's the same reason why, I used to be a cheater on my girlfriends. The reason why I don't now is because, bro, you good with your legacy right now? If this car blow up and you with your side piece, you good with that? Are you good with that in that moment, with your legacy being that in that moment? You being irresponsible, you just putting your lower self in everything. You have to be fully accountable. No one's coming to save you. So in gun ownership, I run. I get away. I spiritually run. I de-escalate. This ain't, we a lot of this stuff ain't past the point of some returns. And when people start going in that direction of saying things about your family and saying things about your loved ones, cool. I just gotta completely tap out. You got it, bro. You right. And that's a dangerous phrase where I'm from. You right could mean I'm going to leave this alone, or I'm about to murder you. So, nah, bro, I'm good. Conflict resolution is the way.
Yes, it is. And it has to be, with great power comes great responsibility, and a gun gives you power. And a lot of folks don't understand it because they've never had any power, so to your point, when you talk about the way we've been brainwashed to believe that we ain't supposed to have the gun, we're supposed to be the ones with the gun pointed at us. That's real. A lot of us are raised to believe that we are victims, and that's all we're supposed to be. And you are not a victim, and that's why I respect you. So let me ask you this, man. Is there like a main website for Black Guns Matter, like merch and apparel, stuff like that? I can put it up on the screen.
Yeah. So one, if anybody follows me on any of your social media platforms, the link tree's in my bio. But yeah, for the summit, it's solutionarylifestyle.org. Okay. For the merch, it's blackgunsmattershop.com. So if everybody's asking about merch, blackgunsmattershop.com.
Okay, I'm gonna put out all that on the screen.
Yeah.
So that everybody can see it, and that's the website for the Solutionary Summit, which happens September 3rd through the 5th.
Yes, sir.
And I will be there, and also even before then, I'll have you on a couple of times because I want everybody in the community to know what's going on. I love solutions. Y'all know I'm a mathematician. That's my background. So we like to solve problems, not just whine about them. Right. You can't do too well in mathematics, and all you know how to do is cry about your problems, right? Or state the problem, right? You got to solve it at some point. Right. And also, everybody, here's the website to get that merch, like those great T-shirts, In the War on Masculinity, which you guys know that I agree with that as well. That this masculinity thing is so interesting. How everything must be toxic if a man is just being a man. I don't believe that, and I encourage y'all to go to his site and support what you believe in. And if you go to blackgunsmattershop.com, you can get all of Maj's merch. Support the organization. If you got it like that, write a check because his brother's out here doing good things. And by the way, I think I might pop in, man, and get some firearms training from your people, man, because I admit I'm not there yet, but I want to get there. And you've opened my mind on a lot of this, and I respect it. My father was in law enforcement for 30 years, and I remember watching him pull the gun off the dresser and strap it up and all that. So gun, I've got no problem with any of that. I think that that's absolutely necessary in the world we live in. So anyway, man, you got any final thoughts you want to share before you bounce on out?
Nothing, man. I just appreciate you, Doc, for having me on. I appreciate you for the work that you do. I appreciate you for representing Black folks in such a noble way. I appreciate you for, just being a genuine light in the middle of this war that we in, for being unwavering, man. Like I struggle so many times with, internally with the argument of, man, like, why isn't there a platform? Why the Breakfast Club scared to have me on? Why such? And we've talked about it. or damn, should I still do Fox? Even though my man Lawrence will have me on and it'll have 3 million views. And it's like, that's more energy towards information about the work. So just having this platform where people are capable of expressing themselves to a larger audience of people that actually care about the benefit and productivity of Black Americans or Black people in general. So I appreciate that. And just for anybody that's going through something, man, you know, a good friend of mine was, you know, he committed suicide about a week and some change ago.
Oh,
you know
man,
what I mean?
I'm sorry to hear that.
He shot himself and he burnt his family house down.
Whoa.
Yeah, man. And so just if you're going through something, man, listen, especially if you're in the hood, man. You know, my email is, you can email me, solutionarylifestyle@gmail.com, majtoure@gmail.com. Myself or somebody will get the email. We losing too many of our people to this stress, this government overreach in the form of so-called COVID lockdowns. People are out of jobs. You know, reach out, man. I'm very approachable. I'm actually here. I'm in a good financial space, and I ain't focused on getting super wealthy just yet. Right now, I am active in the community, and a part of that is being responsible to and for the community. So if you're going through something, we need you, soldier. We need you to not take your life. We need you to not rob folks. We need you to chop it up. Shoot me an email. Send me your phone number. Let's talk about it. You know what I'm saying? Let's figure out a way that we could get some money. Because you'd be surprised how much stress goes away when you got an extra couple of grand just in your pocket. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so if you're going through some of those things, man, please contact us. The Solutionary Center will be opening in Philadelphia over the next few weeks. We will have 24-hour access in Philadelphia if you're going through something. But I want to extend that to anyone listening right now. If you're listening and you appreciated some of this conversation today, I believe in synchronicity, and I believe you listening to this message or conversation for a reason, and you matter, and not outside of just like a catchy Black Lives Matter slogan. You actually matter. You actually matter. And I would rather hear from you 3 o'clock in the morning over whatever bullshit you're going through with your baby mom. I would rather hear from you about that than, reading about your eulogy. And just know that as from the core of my being, I care about you. Our struggles have been very difficult, but we've made it so far. We've made it through every single one of those struggles. And I offer an olive branch to everybody listening in that regard.
I love that. I love that. There you go, being empathetic again. What's going on with that? What's going on with that? Well, anybody
I'm simping.
Right. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, man. I think that's so funny when you get guys that get over hard because they don't even know what masculinity looks like. But you can't blame them. I mean, some of them are handicapped. They never saw a real man growing up. Yeah. And what I learned just about manhood is that it's not one speed. You ain't always trying to bang over breakfast. Like you're ready for war, but you understand you have the wisdom to know that war should be avoided at all costs. It should be your last resort, not your first resort. So so shout out to the real men in the building who are raising their families and protecting their women and doing the right thing by the Black community. God bless you. And you are what I would define as masculinity. So I don't know what this other stuff is. Some of it I can't relate to. So anyway, guys, let me give you his websites again. Solutionarylifestyle.org. Go there if you want to go to the Solutionary Summit, which is in Miami, September 3rd through 5th. You got plenty of time to make your plans, get your hotel and everything else. Also, if you want to get some of that merch, Maj has some great t-shirts. You can go to blackgunsmattershop.com. blackgunsmattershop.com. And also, I want to make sure I mention that the Knowledge Fest is this weekend, Louisville, Kentucky. Sabir Bey, Red Pill, Blue Pill, Brother Ben X, Styles P. I'll be there as well. Louisville, Kentucky, Muhammad Ali Center. Be there, be square. It's going to be lit. It's going to start on Thursday and Friday, and I think it ends on Saturday, if I'm not mistaken, something like that. But it's all on the website, meetinc.org, right there on the screen. So hit the thumbs up button on your way out. And thanks a lot, Maj. Good to see you again, brother.
Thanks, Doc. I appreciate you.
Right on. All right. So you guys have a good day, and we'll see you soon. Take care. Peace.